So, in looking at Europe, it's from an outsider who never really lived here, but who comes once or twice a year. It's just a fun observation for us, the difference perhaps between different languages, different countries, and how it suits that country, and how you learn more and more as you go along with every country. Kind of like, well, for instance, in Paris or in France, what our French friends say, they have a lot of laws, extremely a large amount of laws, but they never carry them out. They have rules and this and that, and no one ever, if you don't do it, it's like whatever, but a lot of laws. And it goes on and on like that. And studying, I think for me, just studying the history of how did this country get to be this way, how did this language get to be this way, in an experiential way, has been very delightful. And understanding the differences, but the art of not discriminating. Like this one's better than this one, and these people I like better than that. But just to develop what we call discernment, where you see the differences in character and language and mannerism and laws and ways people move through life, but it's complementary, and it's acknowledging everybody's ways and enjoying everybody's ways, instead of this one's better or this one's not as good, because the culture, we had just come before that from South Africa, which is very different, and from Turkey, Istanbul, which is very different. But you start seeing the kaleidoscope of the human race, and you start seeing the different foods, the different smells, the different sounds, the different ways people do things. And then you also understand, on a deeper level, reincarnation. Like, why did you end up here? Why did I end up in the Midwest in the United States? When most of us have remembrances that we perhaps did not come back to where we had been before, but how we had to come here to learn what we needed to learn or do what we needed to do. And I find more than not, especially in the teaching realm, whether it's Kundalini or any form, that if you're born in a certain place and you do your training and you leave and you go here and you live there, that oftentimes the question is it time to go back to where I reincarnated back to help and do what I need to do there? Sometimes we follow just what we like to do, or what's more delightful. And then oftentimes we don't get fulfilled. You go to New York. We have what we call the bi-coastal, kind of like the epidemic. You're in New York, oh, I think LA would be better. So you move everything to LA. You know, I don't really like it here, the weather and the people. And then you move back to New York. And then, you know, I don't know, the people, it's too fast. I'm going to move to Paris, or I'm going to move to England. We go many, many places, but what we're really searching for is that peace, or that remembrance of what we were asked to do by the Creator in this lifetime. And I often find, in all the years I've been teaching, that many people will return back to their birthplace because they understand on a deeper level that they trained, they did this, that, but now they need to go back and give back to those people that they grew up with. It's interesting. And I'm sure many of you have questioned, why did I reincarnate in Munich or here or there or wherever you... I went to Los Angeles. I'd been in India in 1977, and through the blessings of my teacher, Yogi Bhajan, he sent me to India, and I had the honor for 4 months to stay there, which actually is the longest time I've been able to stay in blocks, even though we go many times. And it changed my life. It absolutely altered something inside of me. I was very miserable. I had finished a really bad divorce. I was so separate from myself. That's where misery starts. You just separate from your soul. I was so lost, even though I was a teacher, I lived in an ashram, that I found at the age of, I think it was 34, that there really wasn't a big reason to live. It was just too painful. Too many bad things had happened to me, and too much pain, and why? Everything seemed kind of pointless. So I spent that time eating a lot, which some of us do, right? I mean, I couldn't drink, we were celibate, I couldn't do drugs because I'd become this, and we had made those vows, but I could eat. I was a vegetarian, but I could eat. So